minutes for waiting for someone else who wants to enter our room to join our session. So just a few minutes and we will start. So all guys in this booth, hello. We are very happy to see you here. Today we are going to have very free interview free session. So put your questions via our chat. Hi guys. Yes, you may even put your hello to this chat, and we will be very happy to read this.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hello. So maybe
Hello.
someone else. Amazing sessions. Yeah. Amazing sessions and amazing conference. Such a huge one, such a large one. Very important and global. So it really connects people from all parts of the world.
Yeah, definitely, because a few years in a row I'm participating in another event in another Java conference that is called the Joker and are organized by Jugru Group. And I've noticed that it is a very complicated task to join a lot of people together and find a venue for them. On the one hand, and at the same complicated to who would like to share their knowledge and experience with the very big group of participants. But at the same time, due to lockdown, the majority of people have to work from home, and it also provides us with additional opportunities because we could participate in any event we have over the globe. It doesn't mean that if, for example, you're living somewhere in St. Petersburg, Minsk, or Vitebsk, you have to participate in events that are conducted somewhere around you. And right now you could join any event you have. And I'm very glad to participate in that conference because I see that even if in our small session joined a lot of people from around the globe. So I'm really happy to see all of you. Thank you very much for joining our session.
Yes, thank you guys. It brings us very exciting feelings to feel free to contact people from all over the world. So maybe we can start now. And I would like to say hello. I would like to say hi, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever. So it depends on from which point on the world map you have entered this room and you have joined our session. So let me introduce ourselves. Firstly, who we are. My name is Volha and I represent Vitebsk Miniq community. The Vitebsk Miniq initiative is a part of IT community of Vitebsk, a platform for communication and exchange of experience. We are always happy to share our knowledge and hear about the experience of our colleagues. Our events usually are hosted in the format of mini questions, which creates an informal atmosphere, small IT talks, and without a doubt, lovely communication. And today here we have Miniq Backstage. It is a platform for open discussions with community speakers. And our first guest is Aleksandr Barmin, lead software engineer at EPAM Systems. I need some applause here to continue. So,
Oh no, it's not required.
so guys, if you can,
Yeah,
just let me know. So you know that despite the fact our session runs on the stage called Technology Mix. Today we're going to speak mostly not about technologies or some IT trends, but personality and soft skills, speakers' experience, and the desire to grow faster and further. So, dear participants, I should admit that you can and you should and you may, and we hope that you will submit your questions via our live chat. And very important information for all of you that the best question gonna win the prize from our community. So please be active and stay tuned. So while I've been preparing for this talk, I came across of a lot of interviews, meetups, Q&A sessions where Alex took part. So I even have a feeling that Alex is like a Turan Yipam superstar that has special mission to share pieces of his knowledge and showing his corgi. Yeah, I think it's some kind of your mission
Yeah,
to show your corgi. Maybe it will be a surprise for our guests, for people who haven't seen the first part of this session, our small talk. So maybe it will be a great surprise for them. So let's start. Now it's your turn, Alex, to light up minds of our guests and participants. So my first question is, how can you represent yourself? Maybe. Oh, thank you, Corgi Cinnabon, for for taking part in this
yeah,
conversation. welcome, welcome, Cinnabon.
yeah,
As she always says,
yeah. Hi
hello.
everyone.
Yes. So, first question
Yeah,
is,
Jordan.
yeah, represent yourself. Give us some kind of personal description, please.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, Volga, for the long introduction. So my name is Aleksandr Barmin, and I'm a lead software engineer at EPAM Russia. As you may see today, I'm broadcasting from my home, and this is my dog. Her name is Bulka. It is a corgi, so she's 1 year old. And well, so actually, I don't have a very special mission. I'm just trying to do what I really like to do. So I'm working as a software engineer. I'm a lead of a team of one of the key project in our business unit. And at the same time, I really keen on sharing my knowledge, yeah, because I've noticed that. In the modern world, you could not implement complicated system. You could not resolve complicated issue or complicated task by your own self in the majority of cases. And the best way to find a proper person, maybe it is speaking. So because you could share your knowledge, you could share your knowledge, you could exchange experience with other guys, you could share your opinions. So, and at the same time, you could grow up your subordinates and your colleagues. So from my perspective, it is these things describes me best. I'm trying to grow up people around me.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. And could you please tell us when and why did you decide to connect your life with IT? Maybe it was your dream from childhood or something like that, or just spontaneous decision.
Oh, no, absolutely no. It was not spontaneous decision because when I was really, really young, maybe 5 or 6 years old, well, my father bought me a first computer. It was a Sinclair. ZX Spectrum. So yeah, it's a really surprising story, but this computer had a basic 48 programming language, and the main advantage of this programming language was that if you press a button, it types a the whole command. So you press T, it prints randomize. If you type L, it prints let, and so on. So during this random process, I found that I could program. I could write very, very simple programs. And at that point in time, maybe a bit earlier, maybe a bit later, I understand that I'd like to be a system engineer. First of all, I wanted to be a system engineer. But next, I found that there is much more interesting things like software development and programming. So at the end of primary school, I had a very, very strong intention to be a software engineer. So, answering your question directly, so from a very, very childhood, I wanted to join my life together with computers.
Yeah, so I see it was a very long way for you to get to this position, to get this aim. It's very, very great because you have this decision when you were a so small child, but you
Mm-hmm.
go and take it. So we can say like that. And what about your education? So how was it going on?
Oh well, well, it is also an interesting story because when I was studied at my primary school, I participated in competitions for juniors, for primary school students, and accidentally I managed to win one of them in our local, uh, in our state, in our state of Russia. So, and based on the results of this competition, I managed to join the university without any exams. So I decided to join university, and I continued my education. And I have an education that is also related to software development. It is applied computer science in economy. So actually, I'm a specialist uh, in the subject area of automation of business process. So if you have some complicated process inside your organization and it could be improved using some software, I can help you if necessary. So when I graduated from the university, I decided that actually I could participate in many things at the same time. So I've joined a Russian company, IT company, and at the same time I decided to proceed and get a PhD degree also in computer science. And when I got a PhD degree, I also and actually I started sharing my knowledge with students of the high school. So I was a teacher for maybe 2
Oh,
or 3 years.
interesting.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Very interesting. But I spent maybe 6 years working on the local IT company when uh, after the university, and this and this company was in the state capital here at Russia. And after 6 years working there, my wife and I decided to change our location, and we relocated to St. Petersburg. So here at St. Petersburg, I've joined EPAM in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, in 2017.
So, and
And
please continue.
yeah, and here at EPAM, I also noticed that I also can proceed with my activities actually with the same, because here at EPAM we have a EPAM training center, and actually it is a very amazing opportunity for grow, where not only students can grow, but also specialists for production could help growing them and could grow themselves, because here at EPAM you could on the at the same time, with working on production projects, you can participate in many internal activities. So, but I believe Olga definitely have questions about them, and definitely have questions about the opportunity that the farm provides.
It's it's a great pleasure to see your eyes sparkling while you are talking about TPAM and while you are talking about training center, because it's a great
Mm-hmm.
pleasure to hear that your main purpose is not only your own growth, but helping other people to grow. So that's rather cool. So let's continue with the other questions from my list. So it sounds like, what is more difficult, to develop a software or to develop an engineer?
Oh,
I think it's connected with all that
uh,
you have said.
yeah, definitely, it is connected because, well, it is a it is a very interesting question. Thank you for it. And uh, when I became a team leader, I understand that it is not uh, really enough having experience writing a code, because if you can write a code, you can just write it, solve the task you have to solve, and take another task from your stack. But what is more complicated, it is necessary delivering your task. It is necessary not only delivering a task, it is necessary solving a problem. So I've got a more broader view that actually we have an engineering culture. And engineering culture is, from my perspective, is really significantly connected with engineering at all, because software development is only one single piece of it, but that allows just writing a simple code that solves a particular task. But if we're speaking about more wider thing like software the software development as an engineering process, it is necessary not only uh, find the task. It is necessary to understand why this task is important, what problem is solved by this task. And by solving this task, you could definitely understand that your problem is connected with something, maybe connected with something more important, or with something that has a significant impact on the customer business. And at the same time, it is also not enough just solving a task, writing a code. It is necessary delivering it, because if you have something that works on your computer only, you could not show you couldn't show to the end users, to the customer. So it is necessary delivering it. So well, it is interesting that software engineering is strictly related with a modern buzzword which is called DevOps, because on the one hand we have developers, on the other hand we have operations team, and well, if I remember correctly, maybe 10 years ago, it was two separate departments. When developers write software and prepare a very, very long manual how to install it properly and how to maintain it properly. But nowadays, when we have business, when we have changing market, when it's necessary delivering features really quick, it is better to have a more broader view, more broader understanding of the whole process. So we're moving from I people to T-shaped people to M people. Then one single engineer could cover a lot of areas. You're best in the software development, but at the same time you have at least some understanding or some hands-on experience establishing process, configuring continuous integration, continuous delivery processing. So from my perspective, software engineering is much more complicated and broader area than just a software development. And I'm really happy that we're moving to that direction.
Thank you. Thank you for such a deployed and open answer to this question. Maybe, guys who have joined our session, maybe you have some additional question, maybe to these pieces of information or something else. Please put your questions to our chat, because the best one will win the prize. Great prize from our community. So please be active. So let's move on. And as I said earlier, you have a great public speaking experience. Could you please share how did you discover that talent and start your way in this sphere?
Well, thank you very much. Well, I can say that it is a talent, but maybe it is not a talent. But when I was young, when I studied school, I decided to join music classes. So I played button accordion for 6 years when I was studying at school. And at the same time, if you play something, music school also conducts some small concerts for the small groups. And well, it was very exhilarating for me to have a public execution from the first time. Yeah, it was really complicated
Challenging, maybe.
actually. Complicated and challenging, definitely, and I definitely failed. As far as I remember, I failed. It also happened maybe at least once, but I understand, but I understood that it motivates me, because I can show to other who I am, because and what exactly I could do.
How old were you?
Well, that's so when
How old were you?
I'm
Yeah, no,
31. So I
that period
not
while you were performing on the stage in
let
music
me
school.
yeah
Because you just say such
well it
clever thoughts because for a young small pupil of a music school.
maybe
12.
12 or
Mm-hmm.
13. Yeah, 12 or 13. So and I decided that I it is first of all I understood that it is challenging, and I feel exhilarating when I have an attention. So that's why I decided to continue working on. I decided to continue working in the same direction. So when I was student, I participated in student activities. When I joined the profession, I noticed that actually there is another opportunity, and for software engineers we have amazing kind of events like workshops where everybody can share their experience or show something interesting what you just learned. So this is the way I decided to go.
So you just have mentioned that you feel maybe some kind of happy. You feel happy while you get this attention. So what is the most important for you, to share this knowledge, to get this experience, or just feel this attention and this happy state of mind due to public which is watching you?
Maybe both. Maybe both, because yeah, definitely. Because on the one hand, because from my perspective, one does not work without another. So if you can share some knowledge, uh, but if you don't happy when you do it, uh, you could definitely not do it. Absolutely. Yeah, because you're not interested in it, and you have this knowledge. Maybe you could share it with your colleagues in a very, very small group, just because it doesn't provide you with any kind of happiness. But if you can share with your knowledge and it make you happy, that's great.
Yes, totally agree with you. And do you remember
Hmm.
your first meetup? Your first public speaking experience?
Definitely, yeah. As a professional, I participated in the local event, something like a local IT group. It was in the middle of Russia, in the city with interesting name Magnitogorsk, and I participated Linux user group. So as you remember, many years ago, Linux was a very popular operation system. And right now it is commonly situated on server side, but then it also was very, very popular on desktop. So I've been talking about what I don't remember what exactly I've been talking there, but yeah, it was a talk about requirements management actually. Yeah, so I'd like to say that actually it was my first
Mhm.
talk. But next, I understand that it's much interesting participating in events about programming directly. So I've been speaking about IBM, Lotus Domino, Java, Spring, and so on.
Mhm. I have prepared a question about your best meetup, but I think that maybe it's not very interesting because the more interesting one is a failure meetup. Was some of your meetups sessions a failure? Do you remember?
Uh, well, I can say that there were any significant failures, uh, but maybe I remember an event, then my slides was not showed properly, but even without slides I managed to explain what should be shown. So it was a bit tricky, but I managed to resolve that situation at that point in time.
Some technical moments, yeah.
Yeah,
So something that is not
yeah, some technical moments.
depend on you. So
Hmm.
surroundings. So does it mean
Yeah,
that you are always well prepared for your meetups, for your events, and
I'm
how do you
trying.
usually prepare for them?
Well, yeah. Well, hmm. Of course, I'm preparing slides, I'm preparing speech, and I'm conducting a few dry runs before the real event, just to be sure that I'm at least trying to sound fluent. When I studied when I was a student of a music school, my teacher said that, well, you're staying on the stage, and uh, even if you're failing, even if you making a mistake, just stay solid, because nobody know what exactly should be shown, what exactly should be said, and so on. Just proceed, because your audience should not understand that you're making a failure. So maybe it is a first piece of advice I'd like to share. And second piece of advice is to be prepared for questions, actually, because uh, my another teacher said that there is uh, it's better having prepared improvisation if you need it. So I'm just trying to find answer for questions that could be asked. Now, because actually I don't know what could be asked, but if I'm trying to guess what audience could ask, I can prepare something like just maybe a few lines, a few words which should be said. This certainly helps me.
Thank you, Alex. We have a very related question in our chat to
Hmm.
this topic. Maybe you just have answered this question, but maybe you have
Hmm.
something to add. So Alexei Zotov asks, "Hi, Alexander. Could you please share some tricks and tips related to public speaking?" So maybe you have something to add.
Well, thank you, Alexei. Thank you for your question. Well, I have already shared two pieces of advice, and third thing I'd like to share is you should just try it, because I totally understand that if you have never tried public speaking, maybe you feel a bit afraid, because a lot of people will watching you. Maybe a lot of people will ask you very, very tricky questions. But even if you fail, you should just try it, because right after it, you will understand does this activity suit you or not. And another thing is just to be prepared, and just to sound natural. And because and one last thing, just to sound natural. Don't try to write down all the words you'd like to say, or don't write down all the sentences you'd like to say, because in this case you will not sound natural. Uh, if you write the book, it's absolutely fine, or you write a letter, it's absolutely, or email, it's absolutely fine to write very, very long sentence with complicated constructions. But if you're speaking you're speaking, for example, from the stage, it's better having um, a very simple speech, because in this case it will be, first of all, easy for you to speak it, and your audience will be more pleasant to hear it. So maybe it is a main advice: just write down main things that should be said, and try to follow your reasoning around it.
Thank you. And Alexei also has another question related to preparations, related to preparation for meetups and sessions. So he asks, have you used Linux showing Linux related presentation for preparations?
Yep, definitely. I remember my first Linux distribution. It was Mandriva 206. Even before it was renamed to Mandrake Linux. Well, and I had a laptop, Dell Latitude. I don't remember the number it had, and Linux had a lot of problems working on this device. But at that point in time, it was really interesting and challenging for me just to make it working correctly. So I was happy spending days trying to make it work. But when it finally worked, it was a really great achievement. So yes, I used Linux serving Linux.
Thank you.
Right now, yeah, right now I'm using Mac, and I can say that there is much less problems dealing with Unix system on desktop.
Thank you, Alex. As I have mentioned earlier, and as you have mentioned also earlier, you have great experience in public speaking in offline events. So, and now we have such a situation when we need to speak to each other online. So there are a lot of pros and cons, I think, of this, and I want to know your opinion. And in addition to this, we have also a question from our chat. Maria asks, Alexander, you have a lot of experience performing offline. How difficult is it to perform online? Pluses and minuses of such a performance for you.
Thank you very much, Maria, for your question. Well, I'd like to say that it's a bit easier to conduct a performance online because it is a bit easier. Because, for example, uh, you always can Google. Because, for example, yeah, definitely. Because, for example, I have a second monitor in front of me, and here I can, for example, use an interpreter just to translate some words from English to Russian and vice versa. On the one hand, but on the other hand, I do not see your eyes actually, because it is I understand that you're watching me on another end. You see that I have I have a picture on my wall. You see that I have a plant behind me and some banner behind me. But I also like to see you because right now I don't really understand. Maybe I'm speaking something boring for you. Maybe you're not interested in it, and I cannot understand without your feedback. This is the main complication of online events from my perspective, because if you have your audience in front of you, you could always ask them, hey guys, if you're sleeping right now, please raise up your hands. And yeah, yeah, yeah. This joke ordinary works because everybody understands that I'm asking something unusual and start laughing. But unfortunately, right now I can't ask you doing it. That's why, uh, on the one hand, it's a bit easier to conduct sessions online, but on the other hand, it's from a perspective and from my experience, it's much more pleasant to conduct it offline.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But as you have mentioned, the good reason of this is that we can connect with people from all over the world. So, and we can take part in such a large conference, because if it went in real time, for example, maybe we would not have opportunity to participate in it, because it will be rather difficult to get to the country which will hold this conference, yeah, and to take part there. So that's why it's another side of this. It's very great that we can meet different people. So maybe we
Mm-hmm.
should be thankful the situation for this. But of course, I totally agree that I also need eyes of a speaker in front of me to understand, is it going okay or no. So, and we have some new participants. in our session. So that's why I want to announce once again that you can put your questions into our chat, and the best one will win the prize from our community. So please be active, put your questions here, and maybe Alex, it's a very good time for give an announcement of your conference talk for some people who have joined us and for others.
Yeah,
So advertisement.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Advertisement. In a day, this Thursday, I will conduct a talk about testing of applications that are written with Spring Framework, using Spring Framework. I will talk about techniques, how to configure your application context for the Spring application in order to make it start quicker. And also, I will tell about utilities that Spring Framework provides to make testing easier. At the same time, we will take a look into the way how to use Docker containers for testing of Spring applications. And because it is a technical talk, I will show you a lot of code examples. So feel free to join my session on Thursday.
Thank you. Hope that guys from our session will join because they are now they just have got acquainted with you. So maybe it will be interesting for them to join another meetup which is held by you. So and now we have. Another question related to public speaking experience, also about some tips, tricks, and something like that. Elisa says, "Hi, Alexander. Could you share some techniques you think are useful to manage nervousness? How can we
Oh,
manage with the
uh,
state?"
Actually, ordinarily I'm using two techniques. First techniques is just to warm up. It is something like a tongue twister, very simple tongue twister. Like, unfortunately, I don't know any tongue twister in English, but I will say it in Russian. Like, в недрах тундры, выдры, в кедрах, тырит, в ведрах, ядра, кедра.
Cool.
It's a yeah, it's a bit complicated to pronounce it from the first time, but if you try to do it again and again and again, you will manage to do it. This is the first technique. I ordinarily use it for warm up, and the second technique is just breathing. Very very deep and slow breathing, because it allows me to manage nervousness and keep calm, because actually I have no opportunity to run away from the stage, so I have to go and conduct a speech. That's why I just have to keep calm and start speaking. That's all. So maybe it's just two techniques I'm using.
Yeah, maybe I can add something that if you know, guys, the translation of this tango twist so that Alex has just mentioned about Vidri v Getrach, some strange things are happening in the forest. So maybe also humor and some jokes also can get more calm and to get acquainted to the surroundings and to go further, to go to this audience. Yeah. So Elisa said that it sounds super nice. Yeah. About some strange things in the
Uh,
forest.
yeah, it is otter in striped socks
Leggings.
trying to steal.
In leggings.
Yes, otters in leggings are stealing are stealing are stealing berries from the forest. Maybe it's something about this.
Cool, great. So, and you know that I have skipped one question from our chat. It was related to the topic of your training programs. So, can we please go back and I will ask it? A small question. Alex, could you briefly describe what educational programs are you working on now as a trainer?
Uh, well, Thank you very much, Tatiana, for your question. And actually, right now I'm dealing with two educational programs. So I'm conducting Java core classes for externs. So if you're a student, you could always join a training center. And the first step of education in training center is courses that are conducted ordinary every twice or three times a week in evening. So I'm conducting Java Core for students, and also I'm working on a microservice crash course for engineers. So this is the second activity I'm handling here.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer.
So, mhm.
You know, Tatiana just have shared with us a tango twister in English. Her beloved one, she says. So maybe it will be a great also piece of advice for some English speaking participants in our session. So guys, take it please and use it before your uh, public speaking experience meetups or Q&A sessions, something like that. So, and we also have another question related to this topic of public speaking experience. Natalia. Natalia is asking, is public speaking a skill or talent?
Natalia, thank you very much for your question. Well, even if you have a talent, it is necessary working on it. It sounds very unnatural, but unfortunately, even if you have talent and you will not grow it, it will be lost. So from my experience and from my understanding, it is both. Initially, talent will allow you to start, but if you'd like to proceed, if you'd like to grow in this direction, you have to work and actually, in the majority of cases, work very heavy. And and in this case, talent is just a starting point, and next, working with it, improvement, you will get a skill. So maybe it's more a skill, not a talent, because well, I know a lot of people who, for example, have never been working on software development, but they decided to change their mind. They decided to get a new profession. They decided to change their primary skill, and they started learning from scratch and just grow their skills from the very beginning. I believe public speaking is the same. You could just start from a small and short talks and grow your experience, uh, grow your uh, well, grow your experience actually. So it's just a skill.
Yeah, maybe as scientists say that any success is just 10% of a talent and 90% of an effort, hard work, growing skills, developing yourself. So I think it is related to any point, and public speaking is also among them. So Elisa also gives us another question. Have you ever been a speaker in other location? How was this experience? Maybe
Oh,
I think that she means
well,
that in another location with another language speakers, maybe. Yeah, I think this is the main idea.
uh, thank you very much, Elisa, for your question. And I don't know, I have not had an experience. Uh, I have not had experience to conduct a public speech in another location offline. Yeah, in another location offline, but I have conducted a couple of talks online for foreign people, for people from other locations. So, because here at the pump we have very interesting because actually EPAM is a worldwide company, and we have a lot of events. We have a lot of internal classes, internal courses that are conducted not only for people who in the same location with you, but also for people who are situated in other countries. So I have conducted classes for people from India and from United States about microservices, as far as I remember. And also I conducted a couple of speeches about Spring as well. So I have online experience, but have not had the chance to participate it offline.
Yeah, Lisa just have invited you to their community to conduct as a speaker in Java community in Mexico. It sounds great, I think. So I think that you can
Yeah,
then share links with each other. Maybe it will be a great idea.
yeah. Thank you very much for
So,
invitation.
Alex, as you has said already, this period of our life, we may name it like this, give us different challenges, as for example, online events instead of offline ones. So, and I know that you have some speech on the mental health on Learning Week. So, do you,
Excellent
Alex?
with my connection.
Do you
I'm
hear me?
very sorry. Could you please repeat
Yeah.
your question? Yeah,
Okay, of
yeah.
course, of course. My question is about your is about your public speaking experience during well-being learning week. You know, about mental health. Public talk about mental health. You had one like this, yeah? Could you please
Mm-hmm.
share the ideas from that
Yep.
public talk? Because I think that it is related to our topic, because it is related to our new reality. So how can we save this
Mm-hmm.
mental health in the situation that is going on right now?
Oh, well, thank you very much. I have participated only in a very small piece of this talk, and it was this event actually was conducted by many people, sequentially one by one. And I'm really happy to share some insights from this talk. So it is really important and complicated time that we are living right now, but ideas that were shared looks very simple. First of all, our expert recommended to establish a schedule, because when you're working from office, you always understand when your work day starts, when it finishes. But when you're working from home, it is really complicated to understand when you have to switch off your computer and get back to your family, to your relatives, to your home ordinary duties. So it's better having a time boundaries for your work day, first of all. Secondly, due to the fact that we don't have to go anywhere from home, it looks like that you could stay the whole day in front of computer. And the second recommendation which was given is about your physical activities. Even if you're working from home, if you spend a lot of time at home, just do a very simple and small exercise like stretching or yoga or something like this. Third thing that was shared, and I also like to share with you, is pets. Because, well, yeah, definitely,
It's
because
high time to show
you're spending a
Cinnabon
lot
once
of time
again.
at home. uh, she's sleeping a bit far from me, so I cannot take you.
Unfortunately.
Oh, my wife is providing me with, oh, nope, I am provided with my Cinnabon. Yeah, so she's sleeping, but having a pet at home significantly reduce your stress, because, for example, you can take your pet and and pet it and mother it, because why not? They require a lot of attention, and they significantly improve your mental health just because they are very cute. And It's better having a hobby.
Do you have
Yeah.
one?
The last one thing I'd like to share, renovation of my flat. I'm working on it maybe 6 months in a row. I'm happy if it
It's
will be
an endless
finished soon.
process. It's an endless process, you know. What is anything
Yep.
which is connected with flat and designing flat and something like that, it could end forever. So I have forgotten anything. Well, you
Definitely,
have shown
definitely.
you have shown these cute little um, piece of fur. So I have forgot anything because she is very cute. Thank you, Cinnabon, for participating in our conversation. So a little speaker, a small yipama.
Definitely, definitely. Small payment.
A small yipama.
Well, yeah, definitely. I suppose she can code Java because she's been listening to my evening Java classes for 2 or 3 months in a row. Uh, so even if she can speak, she can code.
Maybe as a junior, it will be okay to enter
Mhm.
the company. So we have another question from our chat. So Natalia asks, do you have some speech tactics for better impressing your audience? So you know some tricks, some things, some points, how to get attention, how to keep this attention, maybe something like this. Do you have some special thing
Uh,
from psychology, for
not a
example?
Oh, no, it's too complicated for me because I'm just a simple software engineer. Thank you very much, Natalia, for your question. And I have a good answer actually because I know a very good technique that ordinary helps me. It is storytelling. Um, well, you have definitely seen a lot of movies when a superhero goes to a foreign land to fight a dragon and save the princess. And it is really interesting following this hero because, well, you don't really understand. Okay, so you definitely understand that this hero will survive, and at the end he will get he will get a princess. The dragon will be defeated, and so on. But it is really interesting watching how exactly it will be done. Of course, if we are not, of course, if we are not, if we are not speaking about Game of Thrones, because here we have a very unexpected
Twisted plot.
uh, yeah, very twisted destiny of the heroes. Okay. Storytelling is a simple approach that allows you to group and to organize your speech around some event or around some journey, because well, the speeches are on ordinary focused about some technical things or some software technologies or maybe approaches. It is not really interesting talking about them isolatedly. For example, yeah, this is the way how you could use service discovery. Okay, this is the way how you could use circuit breaker and so on. But if you tell the story, let's image, for example, the situation when you have an application, when you have a customer and you have a system between them, you could tell a simple story how they communicating between each other, how they are dealing with some complicated situation. And during this story, you could explain how exactly this complicated technology could be used. So this approach saved me a lot of time for preparation for complicated speeches when I have to talk uh, about many things in a row that are ordinarily used together. So the best way of explaining this complicated stuff is just to telling a story when these tools or maybe events or techniques or technologies or whatever are used. And just to make your story, there are a few scenarios. I have already mentioned one when superhero beat the dragon and saved the princess. And actually, you could make your story interesting. For example, a bit more interesting. For example, we decided to fight a dragon, but this dragon was too complicated for us for now, and the hero was defeated. He or she get back to his own homeland and decided to grow itself and improved techniques use techniques A, B, C, D, for example. And from the second attempt, this hero managed to defeat this dragon, but unfortunately the princess was in another castle. So he decided to go again, and so on. So there are a few scaffolds for telling stories that significantly simplifies preparation for speeches, and definitely allows the audience following you with interest.
Thank you. Thank you for such an
So this
open
is
question. Yeah. I feel like I have participated in some story or in some fairy tale story right now. We have another question in our chat. Tatiana says, you've mentioned T-shaped specialists. In general, do you think it's better to be a deep specialist in a particular narrow area or a T-shaped specialist with several skills developed at the same time?
Yeah, thank you very much, Tatiana, for your question. From my perspective, it's better having a T-shape when you have a very deep understanding and deep experience in some particular area. For example, software development or maybe software testing, but at the same time, you have at least small understanding of how your colleagues are working and why their work is important. It definitely allows building bridges before different before different areas. And for example, if you're software, you could add additional logging, for example, that make testing of the software you read easier, or maybe you add additional logging or some toggles that allows to switch on or off your functionality for operational team and so on. Just at the same time, it sounds like a Boy Scout rule. You're making code or the solution you're working a bit better than it was before. So from my perspective, it's better having T-shaped specialist in your team because it's significantly easier finding a common ground, speaking to them, because in the majority of cases you will speak using the same terms, using the same language. In this case, you will be much more efficient.
So additional question from Tatiana related to this one. Is it a good practice from your point of view to study juniors as T-shaped engineers from the very beginning?
Yeah, I definitely agree, and actually can't agree more with Tatiana. It's a very good practice because I have seen a lot of examples when guys say that I will not deal with frontend because I'm just a Java engineer and I know nothing about frontend. From my perspective, it sounds a bit. It sounds very pity, actually, that software engineers have a very because this does not allow an engineer to solve problem and to see problem as a problem as a whole. Because if you have only one side view, it doesn't provide you with the full picture of the problem or maybe about issue you're working on. So it's better growing T-shaped engineers from the very beginning, from my perspective. And during my classes, I also trying to tell my students a bit more than they need to know. Because, well, I think you have already seen a lot of classes for software engineers when you're then they are studying something like a loop operator, and they have 20 tasks about this loop operator. It will not allow them solving problems, solving issues, and resolving complicated situations if they are experienced in the loop operator, because they can't bring all these cubicles together just to build a pipeline, just to build something that resolve the issue. That's why it's better having a much broader view. It's better being a T-shaped person. And if you can start doing it from the very beginning, that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for a great open wide answer to this question. And maybe another one question will be interesting and maybe interesting for the audience, which language is not English. So their native language is not English. How to improve your language skills? Because you sound rather great. So thank you for your for this conversation. So maybe some also pieces of advice how to improve the language.
Thank you very much, Volker. But I don't really think that I sound really natural or fluent. And my experience that says that's the best way of improving your English is, or maybe German or French or whatever language you're speaking or trying to learn, is to use it. Yeah, definitely. And it is better not only reading and writing, but also speaking, because if you can read and write, that's solves a lot of problems. You could read books in English, you can communicate with your colleagues, but if you cannot speak, it will not. It will create a lot of difficulties when you visit, for example, foreign country. And another piece of advice I'd like to share is actually visit foreign country. I was really surprised. Yeah, definitely. I was really surprised when I visited England from the first time, because, well, despite the fact that I was there as a part of a group, it was necessary speaking English all the time because I was involved in many conversations with customers, and even if we'd like to share some tips or insights among our group, we had to use English as well. Just as a rule of thumb, just to show our openness. So it significantly improved my English at that point at time. And another thing I'd like to share is it's better, from my perspective, it's my personal experience. Maybe you will not agree with me, but it's better having a rich vocabulary instead of grammar because yeah, because if you know a lot of words, you could build a sentence. But this sentence could be built incorrectly. There could be a wrong word ordering, but in the majority of cases, you will be understood. But if you know only grammar and do not words, you have no building blocks to build a proper sentence. This is my personal advice. Just grow your vocabulary.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that it could be rather useful. And thank you, Alex, for this discussion, for this conversation, because we are running out of time right now. So, yeah, so these hour just away. So thank you so much. It was very, very interesting. So you just have created a very friendly atmosphere. And now, very important moment, you should choose the best question. The best question, and we will give prize for this question. So, and I should pay attention that, guys, that one who will win this prize, whose question will be the best, please write me in direct messages in this chat your email in order we can connect you. So please, Alex, your turn to choose the winner.
It is very exciting to choose who uh, I'd like to share a prize, to share a gift. Well, I think, I suppose, the most interesting was from sorry, I don't want um, to thrill you. I'm just scrolling the chat to find the person who asked that question. I'd like to share a gift with Natalia Mogilchuk, because it was really amazing question regarding speech tactics.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you very much
Natalia.
for it.
Natalia, thank you for your question. Please leave your mail in direct message with me in order I can give you the gift from our community, from a Miniq, Vitebsk Miniq community. Please, Natalia, if you're still here, if you're still here in this session, please. Oh, Natalia just have mentioned it in our open chat. Thank you, Natalia. So please wait for our gift from Vitebsk Miniq community. So, and now I want to say once again, thank you, Alex, for this great conversation. I think that this thank you from our chat is also a very good prize for us, for you, for us both, for this interview. I think that we spent time very useful and very in a positive way. So thank you and good luck on your conference talk. So good luck and see you later on this conference talk, on the Z conference.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Have an amazing conference. See you on my talk on Thursday. Bye.
Bye bye. See you.